Hey guys, Arleesha here and welcome to another video. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out with me today. My hope is that we can just take a look at some fun new paint that I got sent from Arrtx and just have a space where we can relax together. If you guys saw my most recent live stream, you will have already seen a bit of me working with these paints as I painted a small portrait in them in the same sketchbook that I will be using today. Anyway, this paint and the set may look familiar to you if you are familiar at all with the Hemi Gouache set. They are almost identical. The jelly cups are the same size. The palette is almost exactly the same. It does come in different colors, the palette itself as well. And one thing that we're going to find here is that the colors that are in this specific set are different from the colors that are in the Hemi set, and I will compare those in a moment. This set was sent to me by the people over at Arrtx, and you may think you've never heard of them before, but it is the same company that distributes the Paul Rubens watercolors. So we have worked together before, and they've always been really nice to work with and very helpful and supportive, and I was really grateful that they offered me the opportunity to share these paints with you guys. I found that for myself personally, these jelly cups were easier to open than my Hemi gouache set. I don't know why I had so much trouble with that other one, but the foil on top was like really adhered and difficult with the Hemi set. This one was a little bit easier to open. The colors are in sort of an unconventional order as far as what I'm used to, so you will see that I did reorganize them after I had opened all of the jelly cups and set them aside. As I mentioned before, the colors in this set are different from the Hemi set in this particular set, but Arrtx does offer a different selection of colors that looks pretty much identical to the Hemi color range. I will leave links to both sets down in the description so you can check them out and decide which one you are more interested in. This set varies primarily as far as the range of colors in that there are more pastel convenient colors. We've got like a lighter purple and lots of more pastel green colors, and there is a little color chart included with the set that mentions all of the pigments that are used in the paints. If you are interested in, you know, the specifics about the pigments, all of that information is right there, which is really nice. I picked the yellow palette, and one of the biggest questions I get with gouache sets that are a specific color like this is whether or not the palette color gets in the way when you're mixing colors. For me, I haven't noticed too much of an issue. I'm not incredibly super precise when it comes to mixing my individual colors, so it hasn't really affected me that much. That being said, if there was a jelly gouache set that was in a white palette, I would choose the white palette every time for that reason, because I think it would overall be just more reliable for mixing colors. But I didn't find that this yellow, which is a really warm mustardy yellow that I like, I didn't find that it got in my way too much. When I was looking at these paints, I picked out the colors that I thought I would be most likely to use, and that was only, 8 colors from the set, so I was kind of really worried about these other 9. Now, I didn't open the second white, even though the two whites are probably different. They're both made from the same white pigment, but one is called white and the other is called titanium white. My assumption being that one is more akin to like a zinc white, that would be more transparent, while the titanium white is more opaque. But for me, I'm just going to stick to opening just the titanium white for now, and then when I need more white, I will open the second one. If you have any aversions to seeing dirty palettes, now would be a good time to avert your eyes, because all of my palettes get really dirty, and I want to show this one to you side by side next to my Hemi palette. I have had the Hemi gouache for over a year now, and this is what it looks like. I can still re-wet all of the color by spraying them down with water. They are much more dried out, but the color is still very usable. And if you give them 15 minutes or so with water sprayed on them, even once they dry, I would say they're still very, very usable. But it was definitely several months before even my Hemi set had dried out enough that I could press on the individual cakes of paint and not leave paint on my fingers. And I just wanted to show you quickly here that the palettes, as far as construction, appear to be pretty identical between this Arrtx palette and the Hemi palette. I know that's going to be a question that a lot of you guys are curious about. When I first started working with these colors, I was actually pretty concerned, and I shared this with my patrons in our weekly vlog, that I was a little bit worried that the colors wouldn't actually be as functional for me. Some of the deeper, darker greens that are in the Hemi set are really, really nice and really helpful for mixing with other colors to get deep dark values, and I was concerned that the greens in this set were much more pastel and had white added to them. I was pretty surprised then to find that the result was that I just ended up working with those colors differently. I relied more on the reds and blues and brown to mix my dark colors and allowed those greens to function in more of a pastel form. There were actually a few occasions while working on this small portrait painting that I used the greens to lighten my color mixes because they were mixed with white. So your color isn't going to get as light as if you're mixing with white. But it was actually a really fun experiment to try and adjust my values with something other than just white. So mixing in the pastel purple or the pastel pink or the blue that has white in it to a very dark mix to get that a little bit lighter. And I thought it was very fun to see the difference in results that this gave me. I'm sure that lots of you will be wondering which set I think you should buy. Should you buy the Arrtx gouache or should you buy the Hemi gouache? And if you already have the Hemi gouache set, should you get this one as well? And that's a difficult question for me to answer. I did try taking out the jelly cups to see if you could take the paint from one set and put it into the palette of the set from the other brand, and you can. They are definitely compatible in size, which presents a really interesting opportunity because if you already have the Hemi set but you're interested in some of these more pastel colors, then you could get the other set and put together more of a customized palette. I think that's a really interesting opportunity. Or if you don't have any of this jelly gouache yet, you could get this set or the more standardized color set that is more like the Hemi color range that I showed you guys earlier. But really it just feels like more of a specialized painting experience or more of a specific painting experience. So you're just going to get different colors and different results. And working on this painting as well as the one we did in the live stream just allowed me to embrace this color range for its differences. So if you're thinking about getting into gouache, you've never tried it before, you don't have any gouache paint at all, I don't think I would recommend this specific set for learning about color mixing, but the other Arrtx set, the one that has slightly more standardized colors and also a slightly wider range of browns, the other Arrtx set has a yellow ochre, a color like burnt sienna, and a burnt umber, and this one only has burnt umber. I also like that the other Arrtx set has a cool red and a warm red. This set that I'm using today only has a cool red and then an orange. So it's just different. You're going to get different results, slightly less traditional, I would say, but still so fun. I found that the paint was easy to use. It wasn't gunky or chalky or getting in my way. I wasn't having any issues with the strength of the color. I was able to quickly mix deep, rich, saturated colors. I was able to layer the paint. The white was clean and opaque enough that I could use it to add highlights and to work in lighter layers on top. And overall, it was just really fun paint to work with. If you guys are interested, I've been thinking about putting together like a swatch sheet that I can hang. That was kind of hard to say, swatch sheet. And that I can hang in my window for a couple months to test out the light fastness, because at this point I haven't had the paint long enough to accurately gauge anything like that. But from the first few tests that I've done with this gouache, it's just a lot of fun. And the primary thing that I really love about it is that it's a lot of paint for not a lot of money. At the time of this review, both of the two sets, the Arrtx set and the Hemi gouache set, are around the same price, right around $25. And this is like a hefty palette of paint to get for such an affordable price, and it can really help to dispel that fear of using up expensive paint. And you can just try things and get paint all over the place and experiment with color mixes and have fun. And I love that about affordable art supplies that also aren't so poor in quality that they just get in your way. This is enjoyable, good quality gouache that you can have fun with and experiment with and learn with without the fear of using it all up super quickly. I can definitely recommend this set for fun, learning, gouache exploration. I'll leave a link to as many of the materials as I can that I used in this video, so check that out if you guys have any questions. And please do let me know what your experience with this jelly gouache has been. Kind of a weird name, generally speaking, but let me know. Have you tried this set? Have you tried the other set that Arrtx offers? Or maybe you are more familiar with the Hemi gouache. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. I can definitely say that I found these paints to be equal in quality to the Hemi gouache, and I think that either would be a fantastic beginner's gouache set, or just I really enjoy them too because they're lots of fun. I want to say a huge thank you to my YouTube members and my patrons over on Patreon. You can check out either of those platforms, as well as the links to my shop and other things down in the description if you're interested in further supporting this channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well and safe, and I love you. Okay, bye-bye.